So I want to talk to you about education. Now, obviously, I teach people how to start businesses, how to write business plans, how to figure out their market, who their customer is, all of those things. So I'm not against education. And if you know anything about me, I have 24 years of formal education from start to doctorate. But I'm not here to necessarily brag about my pedigree. Okay. I'm not against education. In fact, I have books and I have articles that I read all the time. But I get this question quite often, and it's usually from people who have been out in the workforce for a while and they're doing a job and they're just not satisfied with their, 9 to 5, and they think they need to go back to school for a degree. Now, maybe they have a trade degree and they think they have to go get a bachelor's in business, or maybe they have a bachelor's degree in something and they think they need to go back for maybe an MBA, or worst case scenario, they think they need to go get a degree in entrepreneurship. Now, again, I want to be very clear that I'm not necessarily bashing education, but I want you to think about something for a moment. The average cost of an undergrad degree is anywhere from $30,000 to $50,000. That's just the average cost. Now, it's all dependent on location and whether or not you're in state, out of state. Is it a public school, private school, state school, private school? And a lot of times the private schools are for profit. And so you might be spending a premium. But the Ivy League schools, and these are the upper echelons, of course, the more sophisticated schools, we would think, they can cost in the neighborhood of $200,000 for a bachelor's degree, just a bachelor's degree in business. Now, again, I'm not here to necessarily bash traditional education per se, but what I'm wanting you to do is think clearly about the decisions you're going to make, especially if you think that you want to go and get a degree. Now, think about this. Let's say that you're thinking about getting a master's degree. You're wanting to go to graduate school. And so the average cost of an MBA is 65,000 to 75,000. Okay, that's the average cost. And again, putting into account, is it a state school or a private school? Is it for profit, not for profit? All of those things matter. And then when we start talking about Ivy Leagues, the upper level schools, the more name brand schools, so to speak, your MBA can cost anywhere from $80,000 to $200,000 just for a master's. So think about this. You go to undergrad, you spend $50,000 on the high end. You go to get your MBA, you spend $75,000. You've now spent $125,000 on an undergrad and a graduate degree. Now, there's other things that you need to consider, and that is what is the payoff for that? Are you going to be able to get a better paying job? And as this video is being recorded, the economy is in a weird place and people are leaving their jobs. And a lot of them are trying to get into the world of entrepreneurship. As I knock my mic over. My point is, don't go into debt. Okay, I went into debt. I regret it. Don't go into debt to get a degree because you don't need it. Okay. But think about this. There are degrees out there in entrepreneurship. Now, a bachelor's degree in entrepreneurship is anywhere from $30,000 to $100,000. I'm not going to go into the other, steps in that. I'm not even going to talk about a master's degree or a doctorate in entrepreneurship. I personally think that it's a waste of money to go back and get a master's in or a bachelor's degree in entrepreneurship. Now think about this. This comes from Investopedia. They talk about going to get your degree in entrepreneurship, and they talk about what does an entrepreneur do. Now, an entrepreneur oversees all aspects of a business. Obviously, entrepreneurs usually the ones that are fine, have found a business, they've started a business, and they're running it. Okay, so they oversee all aspects of running an organization, including the financial planning, the human resources, the marketing, and the managing of daily operations. And entrepreneurship is all about really completing a business plan. Now, if you look at the degrees that are out there, most of their goals are for you to end your degree. So basically, your master's or your bachelor's thesis, whatever it is, your senior project is to write a business plan and then to perhaps go get funding for it and launch it. I don't have anything against that. But again, I want you to think about this. You're going to spend anywhere from $30,000 to $100,000 to get a bachelor's degree in entrepreneurship, to write a business plan. Think about what I'm saying here. You don't need that. You do not need to spend $30,000 to $100,000 to write a business plan. There are hundreds and hundreds of ways that you can learn how to write a business plan. I have a whole series on how to write a business plan. I walk you through step by step, and I even give you the template to write it. And I certainly don't charge $30,000, although it does seem appealing, but I'm not going to do it. The point that I'm trying to make here is, if I had the tools available to me that you, my friend, have right now, when I was getting ready to go to get my bachelor's degree in business in the late 80s, early 90s, because I graduated with my bachelor's degree in 1993. Okay, that ages me. I know I'm 53 right now as this video is being recorded. If I had the tools available to me, if I had Google, if I had the internet, if I had YouTube, if I had people like myself that were teaching me how to do things, I would have rather have spent, a couple $1,000s to get that training. And most of this stuff's free on the internet. I know I'm shooting myself in the foot because I sell training, okay? But most of the stuff is free. And what isn't free, when you look at free stuff, please understand, you're only getting a narrow view. You don't have a connection with the educator necessarily, okay? You might think you do, but getting real world feedback and experience is where you really, where you're going to shine. The problem is a lot of this free stuff doesn't give you that avenue. You just get an information dump, or you read an article, or you watch a video, or whatever. Again, I'm not trying to downplay that. What I'm trying to say to you is, if I had that when I was thinking about going to get my bachelor's degree, I wouldn't have done it. And you say, oh, hindsight is, 2020. Yeah, whatever. The more I think about it, the older I get, the more wisdom I have, the more I understand the depth that I went into for no reason. And then I thought the answer was go get a master's degree. And don't get me wrong, my master's helped me. But again, the internet and the information that's available today was not quite there in the year 2003 to 2005 when I worked my master's degree. And then I waited 5 years, went back for my doctorate. Now, this is where stupidity really steps in for me. I'm happy that I got a doctorate. I worked really hard on it, and I wrote books, as a result of it. And I got to speak around the world as a result of my doctorate. It gave me a platform, but at what cost? I had available to me at that point, 2010 to 2013, I had a lot of the tools that I'm talking about now. And I went and spent that money, and that's where I got the debt. Okay. So what I'm trying to tell you, if you hear anything else, please, if you're thinking about going and getting a bachelor's degree or a master's degree, or God forbid, a doctorate, I want you to really evaluate what you're getting out of it. Now, you might say to me, well, it's really difficult for me to self-study, to figure out what I need to figure out. Okay, find someone like me to help you walk through the foundations of getting started, and then partner with them. Get a coach, get a mentor. I do mentorship. That's what I do. I'm a business mentor. I've been doing this for 30 years. I've been in the business world over 30 years. I started my first job in a business office and it was a government office, which is a whole other story. But I started that in I think it was 1988, 89. Okay, so I have been working in some business setting since I was a freshman in college. Okay, 1988, I started my freshman year in college. That Christmas break, I got to work for a couple of weeks in this office. And then summer and winter breaks, I worked for this agency. And then I ended up doing an internship for one of the premier consulting firms in the country for human resources. And then I went on to work in a technology company, running the office and the staff and everything. And then from there, I worked for a manufacturing company, and then I started my own business. And then in the interim between my business when I sold it and getting my master's, I worked in PR and in media and got so much experience and exposure there to where I learned techniques to even talk to you on a video camera. And then from there, I started my business Maximum Change, was started in 2005, which I still run. Now, since then, I have been teaching at universities, full disclosure. So I have a little bit of knowledge here on not just getting an education, but providing education. I'm going to tell you, if you just listen to me, I am a certified online educator. I have the certifications. I'm just telling you, you don't need to spend tens of thousands of dollars to get a degree. If you want to talk to me about this, if you need some more advice, I'd love to hear from you. You can reach out to me, send me a note through whatever platform that you're watching this video. I'm more than happy to jump on a 10 to 15 minute video call with you to talk to you about this. I would love to get you into one of my training programs. We do not charge thousands of dollars for you to get training. I promise you. So my name is Dr. Foster, and I have all these degrees, but I'm here to tell you, don't need them. Take it from someone who went that route and realizes they didn't need it. I have a lot of experience. A lot of it is real world. I do have a lot of book knowledge. I do have a lot of research. I know what I'm talking about, and I know I can help you. Don't go get a degree in entrepreneurship and spend $30, $40, $50, $100,000 just to write a business plan when you can do it for pennies on the dollar. Okay, have a good day.
Don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, and follow us buttons.